Welcome to the fourth installment of Coffee and Curiosity, sparking interest in LGBTQ history. It is important that we, as queer individuals and allies, learn about LGBTQ history in order to educate ourselves and communities on the struggles we have overcome. Due to the lack of inclusive LGBTQ education, our history is effectively being written out of the history books, which makes learning about it now so much more important. I hope you have learned some new things this month. These videos are meant to spark your curiosity and give you a base for learning more about each topic. Today we will be talking about Edie Windsor, who was born June 20th, 1929 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and passed away on September 12th, 2017 in Manhattan, New York. She was an American LGBTQ rights activist and a technology manager at IBM. Edie was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to James and Celia Schlein, a Russian Jewish immigrant family of modest means. She was the youngest of three children. During her childhood, her family suffered as a result of the Great Depression, and her father lost both his candy and ice cream stores and their home above it. In school, she at times experienced anti-Semitism. Throughout school, she dated boys her age, but said later she recalls having crushes on girls. Windsor received her bachelor's degree from Temple University in 1950. In 1955, she began pursuing a master's degree in mathematics, which she obtained from New York University in 1957. She then joined IBM, where she worked for the next 16 years. During this time, she spent 2 semesters studying applied mathematics at Harvard University on an IBM fellowship. While attending New York University, Windsor worked for the university's math department. Entering data into its UNIVAC, she also worked as a programmer at Combustions Engineering Inc., where she worked with physicians and the UNIVAC. After receiving her master's degree in mathematics in 1957 from New York University, Windsor began work in senior technical and management positions at IBM in 1958. Her work at IBM was primarily related to systems architecture and implementation of operating systems and natural language processors. Windsor began her career at IBM as a mainframe programmer. In May 1968, she attained the title designated the highest level technical position at IBM, Senior Systems Programmer. Windsor worked at IBM for 16 years and was well known around IBM for her top-notch debugging skills. She received the first IBM PC delivered in New York City. However, the company rejected her insurance from naming her partner, Thea Spire, as beneficiary. Windsor also assisted the Atomic Energy Commission and was at one point even investigated by the FBI. Windsor feared that it was because of her closeted homosexuality. This was during the time right after the Lavender Scare. She later found out that it was because of her sister's ties to the teachers' union. In 1957, Windsor left IBM and became the founding president of PC Classics, a consulting firm specializing in software development projects. During this time consulting, Windsor helped many LGBTQ groups become tech literate. She helped many LGBTQ organizations computerize their mail systems. In June 1969, Windsor and Spire returned from a vacation in Italy to discover the Stonewall riots had begun the night before. In the following years, the couple publicly participated in LGBT marches and events. They also lent their Cadillac convertible to LGBT rights organizations. Following her departure from IBM in 1975, she increased her involvement with LGBT organizations. She volunteered for the Gay and Lesbian Advocates and Defenders, the East End Gay Organization, the LGBT Community Center. In 1994, Gay Games New York, and helped found Old Queers Acting Up, an improv group utilizing skits to address social justice issues. She served on the Board of Services and Advocacy for GLBT elders from 1986 to 1988, and again from 2005 to 2007. Windsor continued to be a public advocate for same-sex marriage in the years following United States v. Windsor. She helped Senator Dianne Feinstein and Representative Gerald Nadler introduce the Respect for Marriage Act at a press conference in D.C. in 2011. She was also a prominent supporter of Israeli LGBT rights group A Wider Bridge. In 2013, Time magazine named Windsor as a finalist for the Person of the Year award, losing out only to Pope Francis. Later in life, she became an ardent supporter of New York City's largest LGBTQ+ band, the lesbian and gay Big Apple Corps, calling them her band. Upon Spire's death on February 5th, 2009, Windsor became the executive and sole beneficiary of Spire's estate via a revocable trust. Windsor was required to pay $363,053 in federal estate taxes on her inheritance and her wife's estate. Had federal law recognized the validity of their marriage, Windsor would have qualified for an unlimited spousal deduction and paid no federal estate taxes. Windsor sought to claim the federal estate exemption for surviving spouses. She was barred from doing so by Section 3 of the Defense of Marriage Act, also known as DOMA, which provided that the term spouse only applied to marriages between a man and a woman. The IRS found that exemption did not apply to same-sex marriages, denied Windsor's claim, and compelled her to pay the $363,053 in estate tax. In 2010, Windsor filed a lawsuit against the federal government in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York, seeking a refund because DOMA singled out legally married same-sex couples for differential treatment compared to other similar situated couples without justification. In 2012, Judge Barbara S. Jones ruled that Section 3 of DOMA was unconstitutional under the due process guarantees of the Fifth Amendment, and ordered that federal government to issue the tax refund, including interest. The U.S. Second Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed in a 2-1 decision later in 2012. The U.S. Supreme Court heard oral arguments in the case in March of 2013, and in June of that year issued a 5-4 decision affirming that Section 3 of DOMA was unconstitutional as a deprivation of the liberty of the person protected by the Fifth Amendment. Windsor was honored by the National Computing Conference in 1987 as a pioneer in operating systems. She was the Grand Marshal of the 2013 New York LGBT Pride March. She was a runner-up to Pope Francis for 2013 Time Person of the Year. Windsor was honored as the New Jewish Homes 8/80 Gala 2014 honoree on May 22, 2014. She received an honorary doctorate of humane letters from Johns Hopkins University. In June 2014, Windsor traveled back to Toronto, the city where she married Thea Spire, to receive an award at World Pride. While in Toronto, she appeared on the CTV television network's national morning show, Canada AM, with Harvey Brownstone, the Toronto judge who officiated at her wedding. On June 26, 2014, Windsor was featured on Logo TV's 2014 Logo Trailblazers, just to name a few recognitions she received in her lifetime. On September 12, 2017, Windsor's wife, Judith Kaysen Windsor, confirmed that Windsor had died in Manhattan, but did not specify a cause. Former U.S. President Bill Clinton, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, California's U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein, and various politicians and celebrities posted words of tribute on their Twitter accounts. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton spoke at her funeral. Edie opened many doors for the LGBTQ community. Because of her, we now have so many more rights. We must look to the past and learn in order to propel into the future. I hope this short presentation sparks your curiosity in finding out more about the amazing life of Edith Windsor. Project Q&A is excited to be bringing these coffee and curiosity videos to you this month to celebrate LGBTQ History Month. Project Q&A raises awareness for the LGBTQ community living in rural America through education, empowerment, and visibility. If you would like to help support the work that Project Q&A does, please consider making a monthly donation via our website at www.projectqna.org. Thank you.